Many thanks for staying here on Joe News today. He was once a laborer and is now a teacher. The inability of his parents to finance his second cycle education forced him to take up menial jobs. The turning point of his life was when he was engaged to weed a client's compound. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin tells the story of 28-year-old Kofi Apia from the Ashanti region.
Kofi appeared to have won the confidence and trust of many people he worked for as a laborer. For him, the little money he made from his work was not only for survival. Growing up at Joabin, the 28-year-old man always looked into the future with determination and hope.
I was determined from infancy that whatever be the case, I will continue with the SHS. I didn't have hope though, but I told myself that I will go to school.
Kofi says while struggling through the period of his development, he was determined to return to school to the highest level.
I met a certain man who was farming around Joabin to Yankruma Krum. So I heard that there was a certain woman there who has a vast land and she was farming there. In fact, she gave that land to a certain man called Mr. Ade. So that man contracted people to weed on the farm so that he would pay them. So when I completed school and there was no hope for me, and because I can weed and weed better, I told a friend that I want to join them. So I also found myself in that area.
In 2004, a contract that would transform his life came knocking. Kofi says it was a miracle he least anticipated.
Whilst I was reading, she just stood there looking at me, my brother. I was wondering, why is this old woman looking at me like that? But I didn't mind her. I continued with my reading. So when I finished reading, this woman called me. That is Mrs. Jackson's mother. And then she asked me, why didn't you go to school? And I told her, Nana, please, my story, you want me to be sad to help me. Not knowing that she was my God sent. She was my Jesus Christ. She was coming to change my life.
Theodosia Jackson is an educationist and renowned counselor with over 40 years experience. She says her desire to transform people's lives stems from the fact that she went through difficult times herself to reach the top.
Looking at my background, when people go through senior high school, they take just about 4 years to become graduates. But I had taken more than 20 years to attain that same level. So because of that, God had used to prepare me to have sympathy for others. So because of that, for more than 40 years now, if I come across somebody who desires to better himself academically and has financial challenges, I quickly go in to help that person.
Life, it is said, is not necessarily a straight line. One can break from the shackles of hopelessness depending on focus, determination, and resilience. Mrs. Jackson's foundation supports hundreds of needy students annually.
Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group, Dr. Angela Ofori Atta, who is the wife of the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori Atta, who doubles. Can I take that again? Because Trevor happens to be a board member of Templeton, and we checked, and straight away after checking, you notice that under their unaudited financial statement, it has an address that leads to Ghana. Surprisingly, we noticed that that address is a company called Enterprise Group. So we decided to find out who are the directors of Enterprise Group. So listen to me, who are the directors? The Enterprise Group has 10 board of directors, Principal among them is Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Group Chief Executive of Enterprise Group, Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta, wife of the Finance Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, who doubles as Director of Enterprise Insurance, a subsidiary of Enterprise Group. Enterprise Group also have the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Honorable Gloria Ekufu, and Dr. Angela Ofori-Atta as non-executive directors of the firm. Honorable Gloria Ekufu was Director of the Enterprise Life, a subsidiary of Enterprise Group. It is not clear whether she has resigned or not. It is now emerging that the firm that Honorable Trevor J. Travagan is a board member in, worked as a, participated on April 3rd, 2017 bond that was issued by his good friend, Honorable Finance Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, as noted, the information is now available in the public domain. Appears to indicate that Honorable Trevor J. Travagan is not just a board chairman of Enterprise Insurance Limited, a company owned partially by the current Finance Minister, and his company, Data Bank Limited. In fact, for the purposes of the record, Data Bank owns Enterprise Group as at 31st December 2015, when we checked. They own the bank, Enterprise Group, by 39.6%. It's conflict of interest. So I want to take you into the conflict of interest situation. Honorable Trevor J. Travagan is also a director of Franklin Templeton, which is the main participant in the recent bond issue. Putting this apparent fact together, we have reason to believe that there was a relational interest between our finance minister and his good friend, Trevor J. Travagan, which creates a potential lack of transparency and a conflict of interest. As we all know, the Constitution of this Republic provides unequivocally that the public officer should not put themselves in a situation in which they have private interest conflict with their public obligation. There is no record available to us to the effect that the finance minister made known publicly his relational interest. That conflict, very much so, in the interest in his company, with Trevor J. Travagan, and the extent to which the relation might have potentially affected the decision to sell majority of the bonds to Franklin Templeton. Furthermore, there is no disclosure as to the extent to which the determination of the price of the bond could also have been affected by the relationship between the finance minister and his friends, Franklin Templeton. Now that a good link has been established between the finance minister and his friend, Trevor, it is clear that the finance minister issued this bond in a way that will favor his friend, family, and business partners. This situation is best described as cronyism and nepotism at its highest level, cooked for his friend and his associate, and not transparent.
So you just saw former Deputy Finance Minister Arthur Forson addressing the media there, and he's raising a lot of issues with the recent bond, and he says, well, they're raising the allegation that there could be some conflict of interest there with regards to who actually bought majority of that bond. Franklin Templeton, they mentioned his name as being a friend to the current finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and also a part of the board of directors. Away from that, the Forestry Commission has closed down over 300 illegal sawmills in the Goaso Forestry District of the Puno-Ahafo region. Officials have also seized 137 chainsaw machines in renewed onslaught on illegal operators who are destroying major forest reserves in the area. Some of the worst affected are the Subim, Ayom, and Bunkonia forest reserves, where officials estimate nearly 140 trees are illegally cut down daily. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin joined the task force on an anti-logging operation to some reserves and has filed this report.
We set off our journey on a bumpy road to Asomura, our first stop from Goaso, which took us about an hour. The community is within the forest enclave where logging has become the order of the day. District Forest Manager Godfred Koshiga and his team interacted with residents and appealed to leaders to help in the fight against illegal loggers. Nana Kofi Abina is Fantiko Hene.
We have tried to protect the forest reserve for our children. We are tired and cannot do anything anymore. We don't even benefit from it. It is therefore a good thing that the forest authorities are here now.
The journey to the main forest reserve continued, and some of the guards armed. Finally, we are in the reserve where we found many trees had been felled. Mr. Koshiga says the illegal activity is on the rise.
If I want to estimate the damage, I'll be doing perhaps more good than harm, because when you look at the extent at which we have arrested so many trucks and then what it has gone out, I think a vast percentage, the illegal activities in actual fact is on the ascendancy.
And telephone reception is unavailable here. One cannot make or receive calls. Mr. Koshiga explains the reason some of the guards are wielding weapons.
Say you are coming to arrest a chainsaw operator or something. You can't. They beat them up. When you even arrest chainsaw machines, there are some influential people who call you and ask you to release them back to the people. When you're there, there are trouble for you. At times, my staff are assaulted here and there. You get to the court, even there is nothing done to them. The following day, you see them walking in the town.
The fear is depletion of the forest may negatively affect rainfall pattern in the area. Hence, the Commission's resolve to clamp down on offenders. Armed military and police personnel had been dispatched to Asomura in search of culprits for the law to deal with them. About 29 trucks full load of lumber have also been impounded by forestry officials. Only 6 out of about 400 table sawmills are duly registered to operate in the area. On our way back, we found these illegal table sawmills, which had been closed down, was still in operation. Mr. Koshiga ordered them out immediately or deploy the military to clamp on them.
We are up and doing now. And anybody that we are going to get this time around, we are not going to spare anybody at all, irrespective of anything. And we also plead that the politicians, the chiefs, opinion leaders, and everybody, the media and everybody, please, we need your support. Back us up and let's make Goaso a place to reckon home.
Forests have been described as the lungs of the earth because growing trees take carbon dioxide out of the air and replace it with oxygen, vital for life. According to the current estimates, deforestation is responsible for about 10% of global warming. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
Away from Goaso, if you live in the capital, Accra, then you might have noticed the growing number of young bearded men who have their beards shaved in a particular fashion. It's the new trend in town and, well, it's called the beard gang. Zarina Mandi filed this report about this new trend.
Gang is what they are called, and this is what a typical shave looks like. It is common to find, especially with young men who want to make a fashion statement with their beard. Wondering what the inspiration is? I caught up with Eugene, who was getting his beard shaved, and he shares his motivation with me.
I used to cut it, but my wife says she loves it, and she chews it, you know? Yeah.
Okay, what do you mean by she chews it?
Because it's different, you know, people make love. And it's not love if you don't feel affection, like, you know, use your man. everything about your man, you have to use it. And then everything about your woman, you use it.
Even though they believe they belong to a gang, they do not need to be physically acquainted, but are connected by their values. Julius admits he's a member of the beard gang and explains why.
A movement kind of thing, you know, people who keep beard, and it's, you know, when you keep your beard, you take a picture, you hashtag it beard gang, you put it online and all that. So it's more like a movement. In Ghana, I've heard about an event that was organized for people with beard, and you know, it was called a beard gang. I was invited.
For those who do not have enough beard growing but still want to fit in the trend, there seems to be a solution: creams to assist in beard growth. Nana Yao is a men's hairstylist.
For those who do not have a lot of beard, we give them a cream to help it grow. For those who have much, we just give them a cream to style it. The one for beard growth is finished, so I need to buy more.
What investment does grooming this new beard craze require?
When I spend 100, I get my shampoo, I get, you know, some kind of pomade to make it look clean, and it will last for about 3 months and more.
Having to go to the barber to shave and keep your beard, sometimes it's not even, you know, that your hair is grown or something. You just have to go and trim it to keep it, because when it grows a lot too, it makes your face look funny or scary. So I would say, well, it's getting a bit higher than I used to when I was keeping my hair normally.
How do some ladies feel about this, especially since it is referred to as the new six-pack?
I don't have any special attraction to that, but well, what do I say? It's not a specific attraction to me. Some of them, it looks too much, so I don't find it decent when it's like too much.
Since the craze for this new beard style has become the way to go, we wait to see just how long it takes until it fizzles away. Zarina Mandi for Joy News.
Interesting reasons there for keeping a beard. You're watching Joy News today.